A new assistant town manager to be ratified, an assembly member to be chosen, and more, all at this week's town council meeting, which we'll preview on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Wednesday, July 11th, 2012. I'm Sarah Colvin. Town Council President Fred Chirigotis, Vice President Jan Barton, and Town Manager Tom Lynch held the Town Council press conference Tuesday afternoon in the Selectmen's Conference Room here at Town Hall. Chirigotis led the conference off on a positive note.
I want to say that probably the most exciting thing we'll be doing is ratifying Mark Ells as our Assistant Town Manager. Congratulations, Mark. We also have 3 individuals who will be interviewing for appointment to the interim position on the Assembly of Delegates. That would be subject to an election in November. So we have Terry Duenas, J. Gregory Milne, and Patrick Princey will interview those individuals, and we have to make a selection that night. So
Chirigotis then read through the orders of the day, including both old and new business.
2 amendments to the general ordinances. One is to include the regulatory agreements district map. The other is to amend the schedule of fines and fees with regard to boats. You know, I was reading the general ordinance with regard to boats. It's amazing that a lot of people don't understand they're responsible for their own wakes and things of that nature. But and then we move into new business. First reading, amend the zoning ordinance for groundwater protection overlay district. Amend the administrative code for historical commission. First reading. Accept a $50,000 grant from Mass Historical Commission for improvements to the Trazer Museum in Barnstable Village. That may be acted upon. Authorize the town manager to accept a gift of a parcel of land from N-Star on Oak Street in Barnstable. May be acted upon. Accept a $10,000 gift from the Friends of Barnstable Council on Aging to help fund the outreach coordinator position at the senior center. Acceptance of a gift of 4 beach wheelchairs from Smile Mass Organization. That may be acted upon. Accept a gift of 8 lifeguard tower canopies from Glenna Cole Fund for Hope. May be acted upon. Have those already been in place?
They look like it.
Authorize the town manager to further negotiate and execute project development agreements with Cape and Vineyard Electric Cooperative. First reading. Resolution on special legislation voted by the West Barnstable Fire District that may be acted upon. Appointment of an interim, and then we get the Assembly of Delegate and ratification of Mark Ells. Those may very well be moved up. We'll see that at the will of the council. And that will be the agenda.
Town Manager Tom Lynch was asked about the search for his new assistant.
We conducted an internal search. We had 2 candidates apply. That was posted for 5 days internally. Mark Ells and Kevin Frio were the 2 applicants. Bill Cole, who is the Director of Human Resources, and I conducted the interviews. We had 10 questions that we had worked out, so we had the same questions for each of the candidates. It's a little different when you're doing an internal search because there's a certain familiarity with your candidates, so you want to try to be objective through that whole process. So we had questions about naturally budget preparation, why folks are interested in a job, what they thought their skills were. Talked about strategic planning because we'll be doing that with the town council. Wanted to get the candidates' view on that. Mark, has been with the town for 23 years. Had positions in a couple of different divisions at through DPW with solid waste and highway. Served as the assistant executive director and then as the director of the DPW since 2003. So, you could just tell from the way he handled all the questions that his degree of professionalism and his knowledge of the town will complement, I think, what the council is looking for in someone who would be in that number 2 slot, and certainly someone that I could rely on to be a good team. He's been responsive when questions are asked. He's always well prepared, very good at motivating staff and working with staff. And so I think the skills that he's demonstrated at the Department of Public Works will be very transferable into the assistant town manager slot. I'm certainly looking forward to working with them, and I think we're going to be a very good team.
3 candidates for Barnstable's vacant County Assembly of Delegates seat will be grilled by the council on Thursday. The candidates are Terry Duenas, CEO of the Cape Cod Media Center, former town councilor J. Gregory Milne, and Patrick Princey, who serves as chair of the Barnstable Democratic Town Committee. Lynch was asked for his thoughts on the seat he occupied for more than a decade.
It is a different responsibility when you're, carrying 21% of the vote, almost 22% of the vote. And my challenge always was, I thought, to be sure to involve the smaller towns so that they don't feel that, Falmouth and Yarmouth and Barnstable could combine to create a majority on a particular issue. So I was one who always promoted smaller towns into chairmanships. I was always comfortable being on the finance committee because I felt that that's where we could direct most of the policy change that I wanted to, be involved with. As I said to my fellow assembly members when I left, that I thought, while their time was limited in what they could, how long they'd be there, their ability to change while they're there was unlimited, because there are a lot of regionalization types of issues that towns are looking to combine services on. It might not be all 15 at once, but it might be groups of towns working on various problems. And plus you have all of the major issues that the town is confronting, wastewater issues, all those things that the county also, can play a role in. So I think you're looking for someone who can be open on a whole wide range of ideas and communicate that back to the council and be available for, meeting with Mark and me when need be on issues that we want to bring before the county as a whole. It's the only place where you have 15 individuals who are elected representing each town county-wide. So it's a very unique structure.
Town Council meets Thursday at 7 p.m. in the hearing room at Town Hall. The meeting is broadcast live on Channel 18. You can hear more about the meeting when Town Council President Fred Chirigotis joins us on Barnstable This Morning, Thursday morning. The Conservation Commission votes to endorse a pair of conservation restrictions put forth by the Orenda Wildlife Trust. Paula Parasau, representing Orenda, appeared before the Commission yesterday morning. She describes the property.
Parcel 1 is what we call Carver's Island. It's about 2/3 of an acre in Shallow Pond. The larger island in Shallow Pond is owned by the town. This property is in rare species habitat. It's also within Zone 2 area of contribution. It's in the town's groundwater protection district. There are no invasives on the property. There's about 600 feet of shoreline. It's got a scenic view from the town landing and from the town island. There's going to be limited public access per the state's request that access be limited, supervised, if you will, so that people don't go on the island and destroy it. The property in West Barnstable, would you like me to discuss both properties together?
Sure.
Questions? Okay. The property in West Barnstable is part of the old West Barnstable Brick Factory. And I'm not sure if you, Rob, were the maps in their packet?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. As you can see, that's literally that the 7 acres former brick factory property is like a hole in the donut. It's completely surrounded by town conservation land, and there's also Barnstable Land Trust land a little bit further down. The southern, it's all north of the railroad tracks. This property also is in rare species habitat. It's also within the Sandy Neck, Barnstable Harbor area of critical environmental concern. It's in the Old Kings Highway Regional Historic District. And so both of these properties would be owned by Orenda, and the compact would hold a perpetual conservation restriction on each of these properties and monitor them regularly, annually, to ensure that the prohibitions in the conservation restriction are being upheld.
The Conservation Commission voted unanimously to endorse those restrictions. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.